Honourable members, I have examined and approved the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 30th of September, 2021. Do we have any petitions? Go ahead.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I come under Order 8 and under 6, Rule 2, matter of privilege. In line with that, my name is Honorable Ben Roland Tibakwa. I represent Ethiop East, Ethiop West, and by the special grace of God, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I come under 6, Rule 2, under the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act 2017, with particular reference to Section 17A, which reads, a person who publishes any statement which falsely or scandalously defame a legislative house or any committee.
Sorry, you are coming under what?
Order 6.2.
Are we on public petition?
Matter of privilege, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. In line with that, sir, I quite agree that we are running a democratic and constitutional democracy in Nigeria. And in line, Section 4 of the Constitution gave the power of lawmaking to the legislature, 5 for executive and 6 for the judiciary. And there's nowhere in the Constitution that says that one arm of government is superior to the other. We only work with the powers of separation of powers. Mr. Speaker, I am a very proud member of this parliament. And not too long ago, precisely on the 1st of October 2021, happened to be our 61st independence. And Mr. Speaker, in the course of Mr. President's address to the nation, I was very happy when he paid glowing tribute to the functions of the parliament and how much we have helped him cooperatively to ensure that we have done a lot. But going further to paragraph 33 of the address, Mr. President, in his speech, which was widely publicized, carried by BBC, CNN, and other media houses across the world, told the world that one of us is sponsoring terrorism. IPOB, by what it is in the face of the law today, is a terrorist organization, even when we have our reservation, because the laws of the land, our court has spoken. Mr. Speaker, that means 469 members of this National Assembly are prime suspects. On that very fateful day, I went to Akure to be part of the burial ceremony of our fallen colleague, Honorable Expensive. On Saturday, I had to honor an invitation to Ghana for a wedding. Mr. Speaker, it will amaze you what I faced in the hands of Ghanaian officials. I got there, they kept me for about 4 hours, that they're trying to confirm something. I stayed at the airport for 4 hours, missed the wedding that I went there for, and at the end of the day, one of them walked up to me and said, "Sir, we are sorry, because there's an announcement in Nigeria that a member of parliament is sponsoring terrorism. We are put on red alert to ensure that no member of parliament from Nigeria come here to hide or to cause trouble." Mr. Speaker, I had to come back home, dejected. I lose my respect and my privilege as a privileged member of these chambers. Mr. Speaker, they have been calling me all over the world. My friends have been telling me, who among you is that person sponsoring terrorists? Mr. Speaker, the right thing for a father to do, Mr. President is the father of the country today, The right thing for any father to do is to name and shame any child that is bringing about division or anything that will affect the family. But Mr. President did not shame that person. He did not name them. Instead, he named 469 members. Because of the fact that we have always cooperated, and in line with the fact that Nigeria is having a lot to deal with, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal. If not, the right thing to do is to invoke Section 88 of the Constitution so that they can tell us who among us is the person that is sponsoring terrorism. Mr. Speaker, all of us here now are prime suspects. If you go outside this place, people will ask you, if you go outside Nigeria, that you are a member of parliament in Nigeria, you are a prime suspect. So I want to appeal, sir, in the spirit of working together for one Nigeria that we have too much to deal with at this time, that the leadership of the House should liaise with their counterpart in the Senate to try and see Mr. President so that he can tell you, one, the person that is sponsoring terrorism among the 469 members. Then two, he should go ahead, because he has the powers of prosecution, to prosecute that person, convict that person, and shame the person. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker. God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Ben. Your privilege is noted, and we'll get back to you on that. Honorable, what is a serious issue? He came under privilege. He came under privilege. It's not a matter to be debated. Honorable Chris. Honorable Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Chris Emeka Azubo.
Oh, sorry, Honorable Chris, sorry. I got distracted. Well, I'll get back to you. We were on petition. Any petition, any public petition? None. Honorable Chris.
He didn't consult me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Chris Emeka Azubo, representing Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Ekusigo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise order 8-4, matter of urgent national importance, on the issue of need to curb the incessant increasing spate of killing in Anambra State. I want to seek the leave of the House to set aside the rules so that we can take this motion now. I so move.
Second.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Honorable Bid Uchenna Eke. I represent the good people of Abombise, Ngobala Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the first leg of this motion that we suspend our House rules for my brother, Honorable Chris Azubo, to take this all-important motion on public importance. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I am Honorable Chris Emeka Azubo. I represent Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Ekusigo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on urgent need to curb the increasing spate of killings in Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes with grave concern the series of security breaches that have taken place within Anambra State that used to be a very peaceful and secure state, turning it into a theater of attacks by unknown gunmen. The House further notes that these killings are probably orchestrated by mischief makers who are bent on causing tension and panic in the state ahead of the upcoming November 6th governorship election in Anambra State. Worried that there is almost no single day that passes without a reported case of robberies, abductions, outright killings, as these perpetrators seem to have lost every iota of human conscience and sensibility in them. Recall that on Tuesday, the 28th September 2021, Dr. Shika Akunyele, the husband of the late DG NAFDA, and late Minister of Information, Professor Dora Akunyele, and 8 others were slaughtered at Mpo, suburb of a commercial city of Onitsha in Anambra State. The next day, and that medical doctor, Dr. Ezenwa, was killed. Police station was attacked in Orumba North, and people were killed. He was further aware that on Thursday, 30th September 2021, my vehicle were attacked along the Nnewi Road, leading to ultimate death of one of my drivers. The offices of Department of State Security and that of Federal Safety in Nnewi were also attacked on Sunday, the 3rd of October. People were also killed, houses burnt, and has observed that there is need to work with the security agencies with a view of containing these acts towards making the state safe for law-abiding citizens to go about their lawful businesses. House is concerned that unless urgent and drastic measures are taken to halt the tide and combat those elements terrorizing the state, the events in Anambra State could snowball into a major crisis that could affect the entire Southeast and the nation. The House resolves to urge the National Security Advisor and other security agencies to deploy all necessary machineries to Anambra State towards containing the menace in the state. And the House mandated the Joint Committee on National Security and Intelligence and Police Affairs to ensure that normalcy is restored within the state and report back to the House within 3 weeks. I so move.
Honorable Bedi.
Sure. Excuse me. Amendment. Call for it.
Thank you, my respected Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I remain Honorable Bid Uchenna Eke. I represent the good people of Abombise, Ngobala Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this all-important motion, ably moved by Chris Azubon. Mr. Speaker, I so second. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Chris, yes, we all heard what happened to you in the last couple of days. The situation in Anambra is getting very critical, and I think your motion is very timely. Honorable Munir, you wanted to add something to it?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Munir Mubata Nagundi. I represent Kumboto Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I just want to amend the motion to observe 1 minute silence on the death of the driver and others. Thank you.
Honorable Shah, go ahead. Second, the amendment.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Abubakar Yunus Ahmad, representing Yamal to the Federal Constituency. I'm from Gombe State. I stand to second the motion of the amendment for the observance of 1 minute silence as ably moved by Honorable Munir Babata Ngagundi. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Chidoka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Obinak Chidoka, member representing Idemili North, Idemili South Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Whilst I stand to commiserate with my colleague, Chris Azubogo, whose driver was killed in my constituency, it will also amaze you to know that Dr. Akunyili was also killed in my constituency, just about maybe 10-15 minutes drive from my house. The other 4 policemen who were killed were also killed in my constituency. In fact, on that day, about 8 people that were killed within a 1-mile radius from my house and in my constituency. And I think that it's become very worrisome, very worrisome. I used to hear of these things in other parts of the country where they said they couldn't go home. Now it's happening to us where we can hardly even go back home. We'll go to other parts, but come back to Abuja. And it's a side reminder because I know that they were headed to the airport to pick him. If he was in that car when they have accosted him, it would have been a hail of bullets. Maybe today we'll be talking about something else. And I think it's come very close home that a sitting member of the House of Representatives, his vehicle will be attacked outside a very strong, illustrious son of Anambra State who will be killed. Mr. Speaker, I plead with you and I plead with this House to truly intervene and to make sure we do not create another theater of war. Whilst the Northeast and Northwest is grappling with insurgency and banditry, the Southeast shouldn't. Anambra used to be a very peaceful state, and whatever must have happened, we pray and we hope, and I pray with you that you will strongly intervene, as you always have done as the Speaker of the People, so that we can bring Anambra back to where it used to be. So on this reason, I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Honorable Chidoka, can you enlighten us as to what's going on there? What is the reason for this sudden?
Yes, sir.
Any idea? So that's how we know how to intervene.
Absolutely. Fantastic question. We have a group who, of course, you know, have been agitating for the state of Biafra. And I think that with that also, we have some very strong criminal elements who have also joined within this group. The agitations, they say initially was non-violent, and you can see that it was actually non-violent. But you have another group who have become very criminal in nature and very difficult to contain. And you see that anytime there's a killing, they come out to say, we are not involved. But now there is a mixture of both, because the elections, the same thing happened in 2017. It was non-violent, but 2019 they're saying no more election. 2017 it was referendum, but now 2019 they're saying no election at all. So you see them targeting campaign vehicles and cars. With all our cars that have campaign materials, we removed all of them. No flag of PDP, no flag of APC, nobody. They're not sparing anybody. So you see, it's a mixture of the agitators of state of Biafra and strong criminal elements. And that's why I pray that the police should stand up. They shouldn't run. The idea of enlisting in the police or the army is that one day you might die in the battle. If I decide to be a police officer, I know that I've signed a warrant to die. They should go back there and fight. They shouldn't allow them to burn their offices and stand around and look.
Yeah. Okay, great. Great contribution. Honorable Chris, what was your resolution? Oh, your prayer, sorry.
Number one, the National Security Advisor and other security agencies will be asked to do the needful to contend with the situation. Number two, that the House Committee on National Security and Intelligence and Police Affairs should ensure that the needful is done and they report back to the House within 3 weeks. And the third one is that the soul of, we'll hold a 1 minute silence for Dr. Akonyela and other dead persons in these circumstances in the last 1 week. These are three of them.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, allow me to go back to announcements. I have a letter, or rather a letter from Mr. President. Dear Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, submissions of the revised Federal Government of Nigeria 2022 to 2024 medium-term fiscal framework. It is with pleasure that I forward the revised 2022-2024 medium-term fiscal framework for the kind consideration and approval of the House of Representatives. The revision was necessitated by the need to reflect the new fiscal terms in the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, as well as other critical expenditures in the 2022 budget. The underlying drivers of the 2022 fiscal projections, such as oil price benchmark, oil production volume, exchange rate, GDP growth, and inflation rate, reflect emergent realities and the macroeconomic outlook, and remain unchanged as in the previously approved 2022-2024 MTEF. The PIA establishes a progressive fiscal framework aimed at encouraging investments in the Nigerian petroleum industry. This significantly alters the oil and gas fiscal terms and has necessitated changes in the 2022 to 2024 medium-term fiscal framework. The fiscal effects of PIA implementation are assumed to kick in by mid-year 2022. The revised 2022 to 2024 fiscal framework is premised on hybrid of January to June based on current fiscal regime and July-December based on PIA fiscal regime, while 2023 to 2024 are now fully based on the PIA. Arising from this, and other critical expenditures that should be accommodated in the 2022 budget. The changes to the 2022 projections in the fiscal framework are as follows. And the President then lists the sources of the Federation account revenue. He says gross revenue projection decreased by 341.57 billion from 8.870 trillion to 8.528 trillion. 2, deductions for federally funded upstream project costs and 30% derivation decreased by 335.3 billion and 810.25 million respectively. And 3, net oil and gas revenue projections declined by 5.42 billion from 6.540 trillion to 6.535 trillion. Mr. President continues with the federal government retained revenue, and it lists those and the changes therein. The federal government expenditure, it lists the same. It's a very long letter, and I'm going to pass this letter on to the relevant committee, which is the Finance Committee, to work on it. On fiscal deficit, Mr. President says the aggregate deficit, inclusive of GOEs and project-tied loans, is projected to increase by 692 billion, or to 3.42% of GDP from 3.05% of GDP. I herewith forward the revised 2022 to 2024 MTEF as the 2022 budget of the federal government will be prepared based on the parameters and fiscal assumptions of the approved revised 2022 to 2024 MTFF. I seek the cooperation of the National Assembly for expeditious legislative action on the submission. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurance of my highest consideration. The amendments are attached. Honorable colleagues, there's a possibility, a strong possibility, it's not definite yet, but there's a strong possibility that the budget will be presented on Thursday by Mr. President. As we all know, budget is always predicated on the MTEF, and now that there is an amendment to the MTEF, the reasons have been stated therein. We'll pass this to the Committee on Finance to thoroughly scrutinize the amendment, but with dispatch.
Point of order, sir.
So that can be brought in for approval before the budget is presented.
Point of order, sir.
Thank you.
Point of order.
What's your point of order?
Order 12, Rule 19.
Please refer to the page.
Rule 19 is 86.
Page
86.
Go ahead.
A MTEF is a money bill, and every money bill passes all stages of bills. Stage 1, which Mr. Speaker have already announced, which is the first reading of this bill in terms of MTEF. And the second reading of MTEF must be actually debated and streamlined before such bills are sent to the committee, because MTEF shows the line upon which the budget is predicated upon. So I believe, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, procedurally, as you used to do, even when you are a majority leader, to align it strongly so that we can be able to debate MTEF as a bill, because it's part of the money bill, and be able to throw light upon which the basis upon which the budget foundation is going to be laid
must be actually astray. It is in that line, Mr. Speaker, that I raised the issues of Order 12, where stages of bills are supposed to pass through. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, it's a tradition, it's part of our rules of lawmaking, that you should reconsider the essence of sending it to committee by slating, if it's an emergency, by slating it for debate for tomorrow. And copies should be made available to all members to make contribution to that. I so submit, sir.
I believe we have passed the stage of the MTF. I believe what has been brought is an amendment. The MTF debate is supposed to be for the general principles, right? General principles of the bill. The general principles have been debated. The general principles have not changed. And I will direct you again to paragraph 3 of Mr. President's letter. It says the underlying drivers of the 2022 fiscal projections, such as oil price benchmark, oil price volume, exchange rate, GDP growth, and inflation rate, reflect emerging realities and macroeconomic outlook and remain unchanged as in the previously approved 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework. So I don't know what you want to debate again. If it remains unchanged, just an exercise in futility. And I did say to the committee that they should thoroughly look at it and bring it when they bring it for probably you can debate. If you find anything there that is different from what they can bring it up then at that point. That's a debate there. The general principles is what we're debating. So you're ruled out of order. Because I've just been informed that the wife of Honorable Yunusa Ahmed is upstairs in the gallery with us observing debate. Honorable Abubakar Yunusa Ahmed from Gombe State. Honorable, please ask your wife to stand up for recognition. Members want to know. Anyway, I will not be the one to announce that one. Ajay, are you there? Welcome to the House of Representatives. Why do you need to see her? Go and bring your own wife. We'll see her. Okay, before we get to there was a minute silence brought by the amendment by Honorable Munir. Honorable Munir's amendment to Honorable Chris Azugo's motion. The minute silence for the deceased. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Honorable Melu. Go ahead. You want to follow up on Honorable Osai's
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, yes, you had ruled on the point of order raised by Honorable Nicholas Osai on the issue of the need for us to debate the general principles of the bill whether brought in for amendment or a fresh bill. And if you go to paragraph 4 of the same point of order, it says, during debate on money bills, all honorable members in alphabetical order shall be allotted 5 minutes each to make submission which shall be confined to the financial and economic state of the nation. Mr. Speaker, you've just read a letter from Mr. President as to the effect that there are changes to the earlier approved MTEF, which has led to his bringing a letter asking us to, of course, make some adjustment. Now, in making that adjustment and also conferring it to the House Committee on Finance for them to deliberate on and be able to bring it back within 2 days, and also you announcing that there is possibility of Mr. President presenting the proposed 2022 estimate on Thursday. If you look at the time frame between today and Thursday, it will seem that we'll be very hasty to, one, look at those items that makes it differ from what we had approved, and also be able to align with it, look at what is possible, and whether it affects our constituencies that we represent on this floor. Mr. President may have written, but for us to approve that MTEF as amended, being sought by Mr. President, it now becomes very imperative that we have to look at those ingredients that he's asking us to amend, and of course, one-on-one, be able to interact with our constituents that have sent us on this floor to represent their interests, whether such input meets their requirement. That is the essence of what Honorable Sai was trying to bring before us. And after that, then we can talk about, when we bring it on the floor, we can look at the clause by clause and see what can be amended. So I still think, Mr. Speaker, that you have a rethink. It's no need for us to rush for Mr. President to come here on Thursday to submit the estimate when we have not done what is needed of us as the true representative of the people. This is my submission.
Okay, I didn't want to get into this, but both you and Honorable Osai had referred to, what order was it, 12? Rule 19. Yeah? Yes, yes. So you refer to order 12, rule 19, and you refer to paragraph 4. So, if you can you read order 12, rule 19, the marginal heading,
Order 12, 91.
Before you get into 19.1, we'll get there. But what does the marginal heading say? It's procedure
on money bills.
Procedure on
money bills, in bracket budget.
In brackets what?
Budget.
So order 12, rule 19 is talking about the budget.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. We've established that from the side.
Yes.
MTEF is not the budget.
MTEF.
Then read the body of. Wait a minute. Honorable Elumelu.
You must have the ingredients.
Read sub 1.
That's what I want
to
go
ahead.
That. I said, during each year, there shall be introduced into the House an appropriation bill which shall contain the estimated financial requirements, which we're debating today, for expenditure on revenue accounts on
we're not discussing that today. We're not discussing the appropriation bill. It's talking about the appropriation bill, Honorable Elumelu.
Mr. Speaker,
you are referring to an order.
Requirements.
You are referring to an order that deals with the appropriation bill. We don't have the appropriation bill before us. You are ruled out of order.
Mr. Speaker, you know I'm telling you the truth.
And when you refer me to an order that deals with MTEF, then we'll take it. But we're talking about the appropriation bill, which is not even bill. Yeah, your motion is anticipatory. So we move on to the presentation of bills. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 10 bills, and I invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Federal College of Education Special Pattern Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2021, first reading. National Health Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. National Broadcasting Commission Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Abiy-Uborodo, Delta State Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Fire Service Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. National Productivity Center Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Trade Disputes Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of report on the Committee of Foreign Affairs on the Oversight visit to the Nigerian Consulate, Atlanta, Georgia, United States of America, and the Nigerian High Commission in Kingston, Jamaica, standing in the name of Honorable Yusuf Yakub Buba. Honorable Buba is invited to present the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Yusuf Buba Yakub. I represent Gombe Home Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the oversight visit to the Nigerian Consulate, Atlanta, Georgia, United States of America, and the Nigerian High Commission in Kingston, Jamaica. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dati.
Right Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, I'm Honorable Garba Deti Mohammed. I represent Sabon Gari Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Yusuf Buba. I so second.
To those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Buba, please lay the report. The first order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Education Technical, Agoiwoye, Ogun State, and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 30th September 2021, and now call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Garba Deti Mohammed. I represent Sabon Gari Federal Constituency. I rise to move for a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education Technical, Ago Iwoye, Ogun State, and for other related matters, HB 3430, third reading.
Okay, you're standing in for the Leader of the House, yes. Whip, please, can you help us out on the second list?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martin Monguno, the Federal Constituency of Borno State. I second the motion ably moved by Leader of the House for the third reading of the bill. I so second.
The question is, are the people now read the third time? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Luke, point of order. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, please, I want to come under Order 8. Order 8, Rule 5, Order 8, Rule 5, Mr. Speaker, on page 39. Personal explanation, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, go ahead, even though we've passed that stage, but go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the leave. My personal explanation, Mr. Speaker, is to the extent that I want to please plead on behalf of my constituents for an understanding of what transpires, a deeper understanding of what transpires as it is going to affect the 2022 fiscal proposals before this House. And the personal explanation is to the effect that if an appeal can be made as it concerns the letter that Mr. President has forwarded to us, sir, which has some very critical assumptions, critical fiscal assumptions upon which the fiscal projections of 2022 is going to be based, that it would do us good as members to please have a copy, not debate, sir, to have a copy today of Mr. President's letter. We've seen assumptions that would affect PIA, assumptions as to 13% because we are only reading it. We have only listened to you read the letter. So it would be nice for us to have that revised MTEV that Mr. President has given. And I want to join to appeal that we have a deeper study of it. We can appeal to Mr. President in the spirit of cooperation to please reschedule the timing and the date he wants to appear. Because this MTEV, even if the general principles still remain, sir, there must be something critical that the executive understands that they cannot do it at the point of executive. That is why they have submitted it back to us at the legislature. And anything that they have asked to revise and submitted to the legislature means that it's going to bring a serious effect. It's going to impact on the proposal, that is the appropriation bill for 2022. So we need to have a deeper understanding, and we can only do that by having copies of that even before the Committee on Finance goes to work on it. That would help us today. Maybe by tomorrow we come in well equipped to try to see what we can do so that we can make our own informed contribution as to the MTEV and as to the appropriation when it's actually before us. That is my personal explanation. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Luke, we haven't seen you in a while.
Sir, you know the reason, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I hope you're doing well now.
Fantastic, sir.
Very good. Please, clerk, please have the letter circulated to members. Thank you. Okay, yes. Clerk, please read the long title of the last bill for third reading.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Education Technical, Aku-Agbo-Iwoye, Ogun State, and for related matters, third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The second order of the day is third reading of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Malumfashi, Katsina State, and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader, honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 30 September 2021. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I remain Honorable Garbadat Muhammad. I represent Sabon Gari Federal Constituency of Katsina State. Mr. Speaker, I'm standing for the leader of the House who is unavoidably absent. I rise to move for a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture, Malum Fashi, Katsina State, and for other related.
I thought it's Honorable Tunji Ojo. It's not Honorable Tunji Ojo. Okay.
Is his deputy?
Okay, I rise to move for a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture, Malum Fashi, Katsina State, and for related matters, HB 424, third reading. Although Honorable Babangida Malum Fashi is not here, but I'm still moving for it. Third reading, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Yunusa, please, can you second?